pleasant good afternoon and welcome to King's Newsroom. 45 minutes of news about Liberia and the rest of our wonderful. I'm Stephen Compton Angry. In the headlines, Liberia National Police arrest a 36-year-old man identified as Melvin Swing for impersonating as an officer of the LNP. Solidarity and Trust for a New Day announces the second phase of its sustained mass protest for December 17, 2025. Describe the planned protest as a lockdown day for Monrovia. Nima County District 7 representative and political leader of the newly established Citizen Movement for Change, Musa Berete, officially declares his intention for the Liberian of the 2029 general and presidential elections. Berete promises change and improved governance on his administration. Elsewhere, rescue workers in northern Nigeria are searching for more than 40 missing passengers after a boat accident in Sokoto State, the authority have said. Details of these developments, the news bulletin, and the actual voices of the news makers are all packaged. We are taking a very short break. When we come back, we'll break it the bulletin of news. Welcome back, and up next is the bulletin of news with Sam Andrews.
A 36-year-old man identified as Melvin Swain has been arrested for impersonating as officer of the Liberia National Police. According to Swain, he had applied to join the police force but was unsuccessful. But he was still passionate, attempted to bribe his way into the Liberia National Police. He added that those efforts also failed, thus prompting him to purchase a police uniform and badge, and even printing a fake ID card at the World Trade Center in Monrovia. It was reported that he began impersonating as an officer in March, but his deal was discovered after he was involved in an accident with a speeding vehicle and rushed to the JFK Medical Center. The Solidarity and Trust for a New Day has declared the second phase of its sustained mass protest honor the We for People Enough is Enough campaign, announcing December 17 as the date to lock down Monrovia. STEM National Chairman Molba Molu disclosed that the peaceful protest will be held squarely within the perimeters of the executive mansion, which is always open to the public. Molu, during a press conference in Congo Town, maintained that as the property of the people, any attempt to block or intimidate peaceful citizens demanding accountability will be fruitless. He further noted that to coordinate the movement, a 15-member citizen engagement board representing all 15 counties has been established, adding that within 30 days, the CEB will engage citizens' opinion and support across Liberia, including traditional and religious leaders, civil society and student leaders, community representatives, political parties, media professionals, and security sector actors, as well as delegates of vulnerable and marginalized groups. According to the STEM national chairman, following the nationwide engagement, the CEB will submit a formal report to guide and drive the momentum of the December 17 protest. Molba Molu explained that as December 17 approaches, the Enough is Enough protest will initiate, intensify, and sustain targeted nonviolent action, both large and small, defending communities, civil liberty, and democratic governance. Nima County representative, who is also the political leader of the Citizens Movement for Change, Musability, has declared his intention for the Liberian presidency about 4 years ahead of the 2029 general and presidential elections. The CMC political leader disclosure has added to him on the list of other political leaders who declared their intention to unseat Unity Party government in 2029. Making the disclosure at the weekend, Representative Bility on Spoon Talk said his decision to contest Liberia's higher seat was driven by what he termed bad governance and continued neglect of the Liberian people by both the legislature and the executive branches of government under Joseph Yema Boakai. According to Representative Musability, members of the legislature and the executive have turned a blind eye to the struggles of ordinary Liberians, accusing them of acts of corruption he believes that have negatively impact on the livelihood of the people. Bility also accused the executive of distributing 50,000 United States dollars to each lawmaker who supported Richard Cohn and Deputy Speaker Thomas Fowler during the House of Representatives speakership to remove Fonati Kofa. President Joseph Boakai and his more than 40 delegates attending the 9th Tokyo International Conference on African Development have come under strong criticism over what many see as misuse of the country resources. One of those who taken serious told the president's large delegation is exile activist Martin Colley, a supporter of the Unity Party government. Colley strongly criticized President Boakai for taking with him about 23 top government officials as a delegation to attend the 9th Tokyo International Conference on African Development and Expo 2025 in Japan, all of whom are being supported with countries' resources. Meanwhile, Information Minister Jeremy Pia, struggling to defend the government, described the growing public criticisms over the size of the government delegation attending the conference on African development in Japan as a total distraction. At the weekend, the government released the official list of delegates, which includes top government ministers, ambassadors, and lawmakers, among others, to attend the Expo 2025 in Yokohama, Japan. Speaking to reporters at the Roberts International Airport, Minister Jerry Lynn McPeer claimed that each member of the delegation has a defined and a mandatory role to promote Liberia's national interest. He accused former President George Weah of frequently traveling with large entourage for pleasure, asserting that President Boakai's delegation is focused on economic diplomacy and bringing tangible benefits back to Liberia. The National Office of the West African Examination Council has released the 2025 WAD's provisional results of the Senior High National Exam Administered. WAEC Liberia head Dale Goto disclosed that 822 candidates passed at least 5 subjects, including English and mathematics, with credit. According to him, 28,576 passed at least 5 subjects, which includes mathematics and English. The WAS registrar added that 37,081 passed at least 4 subjects, which includes also mathematics and English. Mr. Boto explained that 42,970 passed at least three subjects. However, results of 1,944 candidates have been withheld due to suspected examination malpractice. The West African Examination Council boss noted that the council will introduce 39 new subjects in 2026 whilst and candidates will be allowed to select 9 subjects from the list, enabling greater academic flexibility and alignment with career interests. In a bid to address rising concerns surrounding harmful traditional practices and gender based violence, the Ministry of Internal Affairs and the Ministry of Gender, Children, and Social Protection, with support from Action Aid Liberia, have ended a 1 day traditional engagement meeting with traditional leaders, elders, cultural practitioners, community, and religious leaders in Kakata City. The engagement meeting, held at Manoa Guest House, brought together key traditional stakeholders from Upper and Lower Magibi County, including Sunday and Poro Society leaders and representatives from Magibi County Superintendent's Office. The meeting was aimed at strengthening dialogue around the government's 1 year moratorium on transitional practices and promote awareness of gender based violence in rural areas. Speaking at the opening of the engagement meeting, Assistant Minister for Custom and Cultural Affairs, William Jalla, urged chiefs and elders to uphold the 1 year moratorium while the government finalizes a new national traditional practice policy. And the President of Liberia has strongly condemned what it described as coordinated legal campaign targeting journalists Eric Opaduo and Methuselah Gay in Rivers County. According to the President of Liberia, the two reporters were arrested and detained under separate but related warrants for criminal contempt of court and criminal coercion, stemming from a report that linked a local magisterial court to bribery in the release of a police officer allegedly involved in narcotic case. The PUL added that although the journalist later retracted the officer's name after discovering the actual suspect was someone else, they continue to face judicial harassment. In a statement, the President of Liberia expressed particular concern over the excessive bill imposed, 60,000 Liberian dollars and 300 United States dollars, and the refusal of a public defender to represent the journalist, adding that Methuselah Gay was able to post bail while Eric Opaduo remained in detention for additional day before being released.
Sam Andrews there with the news. Bulletin is a regular feature on King's Newsroom. 45 minutes of latest happening in Liberia and the rest of our one world. And one of our top developments, Solidarity and Trust for a New Day announces the second phase of its sustained mass protest for December 17, 2025. Stan described the protest as a lockdown day for Monrovia. We are taking a very short break. When we come back, we'll bring you voices of the news makers. Welcome back. Let's now take our first development. The Solidarity and Trust for a New Day has declared a second phase of its sustained mass protest on them, the We the People Enough is Enough, announcing December 17 of this year as the date to lock down Monrovia. State National Chairman Moba Molo disclosed that a peaceful protest will be held squarely within the perimeters of the Executive Mansion, which is always open to the public and commercial vehicles. Molu, during a press conference in Congo Town, maintained that as the property of the people, any attempt to block or intimidate peaceful citizens demanding accountability will be fatal.
The Enough is Enough non-violent coalition of the willing declares phase 2 of a nationwide non-violent protest beginning December 17, 2025. Unlike July 17, the December 17 protesters will assemble right at the perimeters of the executive mansion, which is public property to peaceful citizens. In the attempt to block or intimidate peaceful protesters on December 17 will simply fail and shall prove futile. Excessive or violent. This process will not break, will not bend until the Boakai government leads or leaves on December 17, 2025. A 15-member Citizens Engagement Board, or CEB, representing all counties, has been established to coordinate this process. Over the next 30 days, the CEB, or the Citizens Engagement Board, will consult Liberians nationwide, including traditional and religious leaders, civil society and student representatives, political parties, media professionals, security actors, and vulnerable groupings. A formal report after this process will be submitted to us, the organizing body, which will guide the momentum and the activities leading to December 17th non-violent revolution. Leading up to December 17th, the protest coalition will initiate targeted non-violent actions, which may be repeated as often as possible. And these activities are determined to exert relentless pressure on governing authorities. These actions will remain peaceful but deliberately disruptive of governance functions to ensure fundamental compliance with basic freedoms and basic democratic norms, and to ensure that those freedoms and norms are fully upheld and protected or respected within the confines.
Moba Molu there announcing a second round of protest by his civil society organization. And to this development, Nema County District 7 representative, who is also the political leader of the newly established Citizens Movement for Change, Musa Berete, has officially declared his intention for the Liberian presidency about 4 years ahead of the 2029 general and presidential election. The CMC political leader latest disclosure has added him to other political leaders who declared their intention in seeking to unseat the Unity Party government in 2029. Meanwhile, the disclosure Saturday on the Spoon Talk, Representative Berete said his decision to contest the country's highest seat was driven by what he termed bad governance and continued neglect of the Liberian people by both the legislature and the executive branches of government under President Joseph Boakai. According to him, members of the 55th legislature and the executive have turned a blind eye to the struggle of ordinary Liberians, causing them of acts of corruption. He believes that have a negative impact on the livelihood of the ordinary people.
I've made two decisions. One of them, I have discounted the legislature. The manners to our country as it is not the path that I want to take to where I want to go. I am now political leader of the CMC. The CMC has processes. I can short-circuit that process. I've discounted the legislature. It is not a place to pursue. Police is a dungeon. It's a home of a bunch of corrupt leaders. They are the ones that destroying this country, and I don't have a place among them. Actually, my goal is to be. Stanton, give me 1 minute. Let me see why. Well, I came in that building. I invested a lot of time and energy in becoming a representative. I wanted to bring change. I ran first, endorsed the CDC in the second one. After the CDC lost the election, I approached the CDC. I said, "Hey, can we form a team? Can we form a team so that we can go and, have an agenda at the legislature?" The CDC, did not accept that. So I decided to go my way, and my brother from Lima County, the vice president-elect at the time, approached me that he has been sent by the president elect that I should join the Unity Party team to go to the legislature, and that I should allow them to have the speaker, and then we should join forces. I joined them. Of course, that story is for another day. They plotted against me. I'm on the very Unity Party group. They plotted against me, brought some people, and asked those people to vote for Thomas Fowler instead of voting for me. And I lost that election. After the Kofa saga, those who run the legislature now, knowing where I stand, have destroyed that place for the last 15 or so years, got together to determine that I should not be deputy speaker or speaker of the house. And they plotted well. And I'm on the plot, the money, the budget money that was a lay aside, and that's coming up in the next few days. The national budget that was approved and $50,000 was placed in there for every lawmaker, carried to their people in their district, was released to the members of the House of Representatives as a payback for the election that I lost to Richard Cohen. If you are facing something like that, that's not something that I want to keep fighting. That system cannot be fought from within. It has to be turned on its head. Everyone that is responsible for what is happening to Liberian people in that place will be particularly targeted and removed by the CNC during the 2029 election. And that I would not have the opportunity to do that if I sit here insectly that I want to be a representative. So the revolution is not just on the presidency, it is directed at specific individuals that we know that don't need to be in the house so that the Liberian people can have the opportunity to change the country.
That's Representative Musa Berethe speaking. President Joseph Boakai and his more than 40 delegates attending the 9th Tokyo International Conference on Africa Development have come under strong criticism over what many see as misuse of the country's resources. One of those who have criticized the president's large delegation is Ezad activist Manti Colley, who once strongly supported the Liberian leader. Speaking during a radio show over the weekend, Martin Colley said the president traveling with over 23 persons on a single trip is a public waste and he does not have Liberia at heart.
Basically, I'm just concerned about the latest decision of the president to have traveled with at least 23 delegates to the Tika 9 in Japan. You seem to be very crystal clear. Let's call spade a spade. So I believe strongly that the president on this decision has proceeded wrongly. It is a betrayal of public trust, and we call on him to reverse the decision. The decision was not reversed. At least 23 people are going to Japan. The question is for what? That summit is a trade and expo summit. We don't need almost 40 people there, Mr. President. Why are we carrying almost 40 people on one basis? What's the economic rationale? What's the legal rationale? So let's start with the legal rationale. The first thing is a violation. The decision of the president to have traveled with at least 23 people, excluding his security, press, and attendant staff, is a violation of the very law he adopted and passed in January of 2025. Let's go to the revised travel ordinance law of Liberia, 2025. Rule number 3 and rule number 4. Those rules are clearly stated. They are succinct. They are succinct. On the government funded trip, according to rule number 3, You can't travel with more than 5 people. If you are the conference at, then you can travel with more than 7 people. The law was adopted by the cabinet under the presidency of Joseph Human Boakai, specifically on the 2nd of January 2025. Is this not a violation of the very law that was adopted and passed by the executive in order to cut down costs and public waste? So why are we violating the very law we adopted and passed, Mr. President? And this is a fundamental legal question that the president is yet to answer, even though those of us who supported him called on him to reverse the decision. He still insisted. This is wrong precedent, Mr. President. Not
Meanwhile, Information Minister Jeremy Pierre has described the growing public criticism over the size of the Liberian leaders' delegation attending the 9th Tokyo International Conference on Africa Development in Japan as a total distraction. Speaking to reporters at the Rabat International Airport Saturday, Minister Pierre claimed that each member of the delegation has a defined role and a mandate to promote Liberia's national interest. He at the same time accused former President Joshua of frequently traveling with large entourages for pleasure, asserting that President Boykat's delegation is focused on economic diplomacy and bringing tangible benefit to the country.
We have that obligation to tell you why it is important for this, that. That's a distraction. I'm not interested in the distraction. President Boakai has not left this country to stay off for 58 days. And he didn't do the white football game. Okay? He has not left this country with a delegation of 50 persons. So, we don't want to go into those kind of things. The country has to make progress, right? Okay. So, why Mr. We are in government, what the other people did, let us not try to always draw the former president into those kinds of stuff. Because we can establish that the variables are not the same. Every government across the world participates. Except you don't want to be a government. Or except you're not looking for investment, you're not looking for trade opportunity, you're not looking for development, then you stay away. So that's how important it is. Second, both the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Ministry of Information, and the Ministry of Commerce have been working on the Osaka Expo. We appointed a Commissioner General from Liberia for that Osaka, who is former Ambassador Julie Andy. And so the ministry, all the ministry I get named, they are part of that international festival, which is Expo, right? Taking place in the same Japan, but in a different place. So when we leave the Tika Summit, that we have all the leaders who are concerned about how their country may progress, then we go to Osaka, for the Expo before we come back. So all of the individuals you saw listed that are part of the trip, it is because their role and what they have to do to ensure that we get some dividend from these two international engagements requires that they be there. Why aren't we looking for investment? Because that's how the jobs will come. Government can employ all of us. Jobs come from the private sector, right? And the private sector is enhanced by having investors come to your country. Trade relations among nations is also very important. Who doesn't want to have trade relations with Japan or Asia as a whole, right? So the engagement that we will have there may bear fruit, not immediately, because sometimes we come back and say, oh boy, so how much you're putting the bear coming? It will not be about what is in the bear coming. It will be about things that you've done that will yield dividend eventually, not instantly. But if you disengage from the international fora, what do you expect to come to your country? You can't be like an isolated nation on yourself.
Liberia's Information Minister Jeremy Pierre there speaking. Earlier, you listened to Ezad activist Martin Colley. And now, up to this development, the National Office of the West African Examination Council has released the 2025 WISE provisional results of the senior hard national test administered in Liberia. WISE Liberia Head de Boto disclosed that 822 candidates passed at least 5 subjects, including English and mathematics with credit. According to Boto, 28,576 passed at least 5 subjects, including English and mathematics with earning credit. Here is the WISE boss explaining more about the results.
For this exam, when you pass a single subject, we'll still give you a certificate. So for performance, the table below provides a performance of candidates for WISE for school candidates 2025, and we are giving you 8 per subject. This table clearly says that our candidates found biology to be challenging. Of the 51,700 candidates that sat the exam, only 27.45% passed biology. Of the 48,062 candidates that sat this exam, 87.41% of the candidates passed history. We have only 4 subjects. History that had 87%, chemistry, interestingly, 64.31, geography 62.18, and literature in English 61.48. The candidates are struggling with mathematics and English language. Yes, it is true that 58% of them pass in English and 54% pass in mathematics, but we all know that these 2 subjects are major subjects. Performance as a pass rate in 5 subjects and above. Of the 50 some more candidates that came in to do the test. So the 51,719 candidates who came in for this exam, 1.59% of them passed clearly, clean pass. 822 candidates were successful in passing in a minimum. I'm not saying they passed only 5 subjects. Some passed more than 5 subjects. We're looking at least minimum 5 subjects. And I also want to highlight that this is the highest number that we have received, we have recorded since we started giving WAS, or the number of candidates that pass in a minimum of 5 subjects with credit, including English and mathematics. The number of candidates that pass any 5 subjects, mathematics, English, doesn't necessarily appear more 8, then the number jumped to 28,576. But passing any 4 subjects, you have 37,081 candidates with a pass rate of 71%. And 3 subjects, you have 83.08%. You see, you have more people passing at least 5 subjects. So
The head of why they're speaking. Well, with the time check now, half an hour past the news presentation, there's a reminder that you are listening to the Monday, August 18, 2025 edition of King's Newsroom, 45 minutes of news about Liberia and elsewhere. We are taking a very short break. When we come back, we'll bring you more developments. Welcome back. And now to this development in a bid to address rising concerns surrounding harmful traditional practices and gender-based violence. The Ministry of Internal Affairs and the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection, with support from Action Aid Liberia over the weekend, ended a one-day transitional engagement meeting with traditional chiefs, elders, cultural practitioners, community and religious leaders in Kakata. The engagement meeting held at the Mount Norwood Guest House brought together key traditional stakeholders from Upper and Lower Margibi County, including Sandy and Poor Road Society leaders and representatives from the Margibi County Superintendent's Office. Speaking at the opening of the engagement meeting, Assistant Minister for Custom and Cultural Affairs, Wayland Jala, urged the chief and elders to uphold the one-year moratorium while the government finalizes a new national traditional practices policy.
Depend the play. You are watching our live. We are in Kakara City, Margibi County, where the Ministry of Internal Affairs, the Ministry of Gender today, with support from Action in Liberia, organizing its one-day traditional engagement with traditional chiefs, elders, and cultural practitioners here in the county. And we have with us the Assistant Minister for Custom and Cultural Affairs, Honorable William Jala. He will speak to us to tell us the detail about the entire meeting. Hello, Minister.
Thank you very much. Thank you, and you're most welcome.
Right. Minister, we saw you and your people in a meeting discussing the traditions of our country, the traditions of their county. Tell us what's the importance of the meeting today.
Thank you very much. The meeting here is very important. The dialogue is very important. So this is a time to credit the position we are into now when it comes to addressing cultural activities in this country. The ministry is in the process of drawing up a Broom Aug.18 to come up with a national policy in this country. And these are things that I was monitoring. I was waiting for the farmer chiefs and telling the minister that there's a need to cut the practices of the current Sani so that we'll be able to come to regulation and making enforcing, telling the people, explaining to them the importance of that 1 year to enable government, especially the internal affairs and that agenda, so that we can come up with a roadmap that will lead us to a policy, covering the entire traditional policies in the view, and also telling our people, also tasking them to make sure that we should respect.
Assistant Minister William Jara there in conversation with Benjamin Johnson of our staff. Also speaking on gender-based violence, Wallace Barwitt, Program Officer in the GBV division of the Ministry of Gender, highlighted that GBV, including the false intimidation of children into traditional society, constitutes a harmful rights abuse.
Because as of you need country, they get some people that so that they go here, all the things happening. And what all happening in our midst, all come out today. So thank you very much. And one thing to say that my the government here work and the government ready for this for the problem that people is that everything is transparent and trying to put people together. It's not only for one person. You bring the government back to the people. So thank you very much. Everything will be part of it.
We sincerely apologize for that wrong claim. We hope to get you the rightful one during our subsequent newscast. And for her part, during the program True Rivals Media, the Action Aid Liberia representative reaffirmed Action Aid's commitment to working with traditional leaders in advocating for human rights and gender equality.
Our chiefs, elders, our mothers, our powerful presenters, they are so specialized in the comes to gender issues. So we're not surprised today at the representation. I want to take this time on behalf of my country director, Madam Elizabeth Datoba Joseph. I want to say thank you. Thank you, Honorable Minister, and your elders. I want to say thank you to everybody for coming. Action Aid will continue to work with you people. Our country director, she will not to be here, but she's on another engagement. This is why she asked that we can't. So, thank you for coming. Let us work together so that we will make Liberia a better place that every one of us will enjoy the rights and freedom. Thank you and thank you. Just wait a little bit when you hear bling. Just go to the just bit. But we'll continue to work.
And now back to today's claim representative that's representing the Margibi County Traditional Council, Chief Sen, head of chiefs in Margibi County, lauded the Ministries of Internal Affairs and Gender, as well as Action Aid for organizing the engagement.
Because as of you need country, they get some people that so that they go here, all the things happening. And what all happening in our midst, all come out today. So thank you very much. And one thing to say that my the government here work and the government ready for this for the problem that people is that everything is transparent and trying to put people together. It's not only for one person. in bringing the government back to the people. So thank you very much. Everything will be part of it to report into it and the decision on it. What for us now would be the health thing that international will use. And my general people, all the things you're talking here, that what we do, our lady then, some of all in our plot, we're doing it. So it will be good that you continue the workshop, teaching people those small diseases for our ways we have. Some people you find it going around so that's when they will try to rip. Is that correct? So for that reason, we have to see up, it will remind us actually as the people telling us, I will spend our and it turns everything to your room. No secret to the woman, no secret to the man. And don't put it one side. I love that. So thank you very much. What we is that you continue your Google and you continue to call our strategic people and the leaders and those are making decisions because we need a root of the government so they can continue having our workshop in our recommendation. So thank you, Action for supporting the program.
His Chief Saint Baggy, head of chiefs in Magabe County, there speaking. And now, away from home, rescue workers in northern Nigeria are searching for more than 40 missing passengers after a boat accident in Sokoto State. The authority have said. The National Emergency Management Agency said the boat was carrying more than 50 people to a local market when it capsized in the river Goroyo on Saturday. A Sokoto official told the BBC that 4 people have been found alive. Ninan said it was intensifying efforts alongside local authorities to locate the missing people. Both accidents occurred regularly in Nigeria due to overcrowding, poorly maintained boats, and a failure to enforce safety regulation. In December 2024, 54 bodies were recovered from the river Niger after a boat that may have been carrying more than 200 passengers capsized. It was the third incident of a passenger boat carrying down in a 60-day period. A month earlier, in November 2024, a wooden dugout canoe packed with nearly 300 passengers overturned and sank in the middle of the Niger, killing nearly 200 people. In addition, that gained a lot of attention. More than 100 people drowned 2 years ago in the southeastern part of the country. The vessel they were in was carrying around 300 passengers traveling from Kwara State to Niger State after a wedding ceremony. According to the regulation, a passenger is supposed to wear life jacket, but they are not always available, especially in the rural parts of Nigeria. And that's how we come to the end of today's edition of the news program. But before we take leave of you, here are top stories we closely follow. Liberia National Police arrest a 26-year-old man identified as Melvin Swin for impersonating as an officer of the Liberia National Police. Solidarity and Trust for a New Day announces the second phase of its sustained mass protest for December 17, 2025. Stan described the protest as a lockdown day for Monrovia. And as you heard in the news, Nima County District 7 representative and political leader of the newly established Citizens Movement for Change, Musa Berete, officially declares his intention for the Liberian presidencies 4 years ahead of the 2029 general and presidential elections. Berete promises changed and improved governance on his administration. And away from home, rescue workers in northern Nigeria are searching for more than 40 missing passengers after a boat accident in Sokoto State, the authorities have said. On this note, we would like to say many thanks to our reporters, editors for making today's news presentation our sources. Sam Andrews was here with the news bulletin, and Jenin Persiman, Sarah Control, and ably coordinated the sound. I'm Stephen Conton. Thanks for listening and watching.